Welcome to Kim's Taekwondo Center, Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm Master Penny Dugan. Welcome to Lesson 14, Taekwondo Forms Tournament Training. Once you know the form well, you want to do the form with the theory of power. You need to demonstrate the 6 different concepts of the theory of power, because that is what the judges will be looking for. The next element of the theory of power is mass. Mass is when we push our body down into the ground. That gives us more power because we're more solid in our stance. And we summon the power from the ground to come up through our body and out through our technique. One way to practice the mass is you want to think, roll roots in the ground with your feet. That's one way. Or push stomach down. How you can feel it better is get your stick and just push down into the ground. So in my horse stance, instead of just a horse stance, when I execute my technique, I want to push down, stomach down, roll roots in the ground, press your feet in the ground. If you're in a walking stance, same thing, push down. You can feel the power. L stance, push down. A form without mass will not get as high a points from the judges. So if your stance is pretty good, but you don't push down, you can't get that extra power. So once you're set into your stance, when you execute the technique, right at the end, I call it the last 3 inches, that's when you push in the ground. Set in your stance, about 3 inches from the end, you push down. So I think into the stance, I just think stomach down. To your stance, stomach down. Alright, so whatever your form is, get to your stance, stomach down. So incorporate mass into every technique. The last element of the theory of power is speed. So once you are set in your technique, you'll have good speed, good accuracy. Your technique will be fast. But speed doesn't mean your form being performed fast. It just means the technique being performed fast. And how I like to think of that is I break the technique up in half. So what I mean is, me. So the first half of the technique, I set my stance, I set my hand position. So that sets me up for the last half of the technique using speed. So set and speed. So whatever your form may be, you want to think set and speed, or set and go, whatever words you like to use, but you do a half a move at a time. Set and speed. Set, speed. Our next form begins with middle block punch. So middle block, I'm set and speed. For the next technique, I'm already set. Speed. If I did that again, I'm set, speed, speed. So whatever the technique is, set yourself, half a move at a time. Set and speed. Other considerations that the judges look for that I want to point out, that they're already in the theory of power, but these are very important to point out, is posture. So you could have the theory of power, but if you don't have posture, that's going to cost you some points. So you might have everything set and good power, but I'm looking down. Looking down, that's going to cost me some points. Your posture is when your shoulders are back, your back is straight. So right away you can tell if a form has good posture or not. Rather than a form that has poor posture. If you're having trouble with posture, simply put a stick in the back of your belt. Alright? And right away you can feel your body straightening up. So whatever your techniques, you'll have good posture. So this is an easy fix for somebody that gets in the habit of looking down. Yep. So practice every movement in your forms with good posture. Another consideration judges might take into effect when you do your form is realism. Are you showing realism in your form? Would these techniques be effective out on the street? Forms are the basic training for combat, for you to develop skills against more than one opponent. So you need to show the technique with power, speed, and firmness. So the technique has to look like you're actually defending yourself. So whatever it may be, when you do your form, it's got to be real. Somebody's attacking you, you block, attack. Block, attack. Block, attack, attack, attack. So always think of your form as defending yourself against 2 or more opponents, and that will show that your form shows some realism in it. Another consideration judges are looking for is your spirit, which means your presence coming into the tournament ring. Do you look credible? Also, you want to show that you're confident in yourself, that you're confident in your abilities, in your techniques, and you can do your form without hesitation. You're going to show good power, good snap, good stances. So if you don't have a good presence, when the judges call your name Master Penny, if you just kind of come into the ring like that and not show a good presence in yourself, they're already going to score you on the lower side. So in order to get your scores up, you want to show good presence. When they say Master Penny, you want to pop up, say, "Yes, sir." Come into the ring. They'll say, "준비. Tournament form. 시작." So show good presence, which is your spirit. Look like you're confident, ready to do your form. Look like you have done it hundreds of times before. And that will show the judges good spirit. One way to impress the judges is with your flair. So flair could be simply expanding the movements in your form, making the movements look bigger than they really are. Especially if you're competing alongside of another competitor. You want to stand out more than your opponent. And if you're one that's on the shy side, your technique might be small to begin with. So if you're a little bit on the shy or timid side, you would have shorter stances, look down. So how you can practice is just think, I need to make my moves bigger than they really are. I need to expand everything I do in my form. So what you're actually doing is exaggerating. And that is part of flair. So if you want to flare up your form a little bit, it could just be bigger movement. Could be the head turn, head turns. So whatever it might be, turn your head. Flare it up by making the movements look big instead of little. Instead of little techniques, bigger techniques. A little bit bigger stances than normal, especially forms with circle block. Flare it up a little bit, make it bigger. Especially forms with kicking technique. So normally people kick solar plex, but for a tournament, if you want to flare it up a bit, kick higher. So whatever your technique might be, roundhouse kick could be higher. Kick what's comfortable for you. Flare it up that way, and you'll get some extra points from the judges. One last consideration is your decorum, which means your manners. I always tell my students they're being judged even before they step into the ring. The judges may have been watching them when the tournament started from the national anthem. A lot of competitors go up to the judges and say, "Thank you for coming today, shake your hand, appreciate you being here, sir." Also, when you're sitting down, waiting to compete, are you sitting still? Are your legs crossed? Do you have your tournament ticket ready? All those things that judges are looking for. When they call your name, do you stand up? Answer, "Here, sir." Do you step into the ring with confidence? All those things, along with proper manners, are also going to score maybe an extra half a point for you. At Kim's Taekwondo Center, in a forms competition, the judges score on a scale of 5 to 10. So a low score with no theory of power and all the considerations we talked about would score a 5. A good tournament score at our school would be a 9. When the judges throw up their scores, they have the backs at their hands facing the ringleader. So a low score is 5. Then we have 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 would be the highest, but usually you don't see a 10. We also have half a points. So 5, that'd be 5.5. 6, we never show thumbs, unless it's a 10. So we got 6, always show fingers, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10. The ringleader controls the ring. Then there are 5 black belts that are the judges that give the scores. The ringleader would ask for the scores. They would all raise up their scores. And maybe it's a 8.5, 8, 8, 7.5, 7. In our tournaments, we throw out the highest score, the 8.5 would be thrown out, and the lowest score, the 7, would be thrown out. And we add up the 3 middle scores and compare those against the other competitors to determine first, second, and third place. Also in the line is another person that has a clipboard, and they keep track of the scores. So as the scores are called out, the score person writes down the 5 scores, throws out the high and low, adds the 3 middle scores. That's how we determine the rank of the tournament winners. So to conclude, when you're getting ready for a tournament and competing in forms, always display the theory of power. You're going to want to show reaction force, concentration, equilibrium, breath control, mass, and speed. Those are the key elements that the judges are looking for. There's also different considerations that we talked about, and use all those to your advantage and work hard and understand how to perform and execute each technique, and you'll get high tournament scores. Thank you for watching.